What the? Welcome back to Fun My Life, friends. In this video, we are looking at Lost Judgment, a third-person brawler infused with detective-based gameplay. This game is straight up strange and quirky, and although these adjectives might dissuade some people from this game based on that description, I use those words in the best possible way because Lost Judgment is such a one-of-a-kind game that you're never going to find elsewhere. Instant 10 out of 10. This game is a sequel to Judgment, a game that came out in 2019, and although very similar to that game, I'll be focusing solely on Lost Judgment in this review. This game is a sandbox brawler, taking place in the streets of Tokyo and Yokohama, Japan, and sees you engaging in all sorts of eyebrow-raising activities, like catching panty thieves. Yes, you heard me right, panty thieves. Drone racing, getting drunk at bars and nightclubs, and getting rewarded for being wasted by giving you some of the most powerful inebriation combat moves in the game. If you are interested in any of the above that I just mentioned, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel, as I do reviews just like this one several times a week. If you are familiar with Ryuga Gotoku, the studio who pumps out the well-established Yakuza games, you'll feel right at home here with how awesomely ridiculous these games can be. But for those who have no idea what they are getting into with this game, let me try to entice you to try it out, as it completely won me over with its over-the-top action, crazy side quests, dark story, and the incredible variety of stuff to do in this game.
Sorry.
So let's start off with a spoiler-free breakdown of what to expect with the story. You play as seasoned private detective Takayuki Yagami, a complete badass who is as good at reading people as he is busting their faces in. Yagami, along with longtime friend Kaito, a brutish ex-Yakuza who spends his days helping Yagami and his detective agency, are alerted of a murder that took place in the streets of Yokohama, Japan. Upon further investigation, the pair find themselves caught up in a tale centered around school bullying and the catastrophic effects it has on students and all those who get caught up in it. This is a very thoughtful and thought-provoking tale that shines a bright light on bullying that is done quite maturely here. Yagami and friends find themselves caught in a long history of bullying at Seiryu High School in Yokohama, culminating in a very dark and dramatic storyline that sports numerous twists, turns, unexpected revelations, and a conclusion that makes you wanting more. The main storyline here is incredibly engaging right from the moment you set foot in the school, and although I enjoyed the story and its themes, it burns off quite fast, as much of the revelations occur at about the midway point of the game, leaving the last half to be not as interesting. This being said, the story is very good and keeps the player completely engaged by constantly rewarding the player with unique quests and side content that gradually unlock the further you get into the story. Because aspects of this game have detective gameplay elements, you will be doing some detective work here and there, including looking at evidence to find clues, taking photos of findings at crime scenes, refuting arguments, and much more. Most of this is actually quite fun and engaging, but the eavesdropping gameplay still needs a lot of TLC. Much like Judgment, the game that came before it, nothing much has changed here other than the ability to look preoccupied by bringing out your smartphone when your target is alerted of your presence. In addition, the first-person observation moments can be quite difficult to progress through, because it can be occasionally difficult to find out exactly what you need to search for in some of the larger observation areas needed to progress. The bulk of the gameplay here is mostly in its brawler combat, and it is done exceptionally well here. As you explore the streets of Yokohama and Tokyo, you will be confronted with a wide assortment of the city's most unruly inhabitants, including punks, school bullies, yakuza, or just dickheads who had way too many drinks and want to ruin everyone's night. With many fighting styles implemented in Lost Judgment with an incredible list of abilities and progression with each of the fighting styles, expect to have a lot of fun with the simple mechanics of its combat system as you block and parry enemy strikes, deal massive damage to punks with melee weapons, or simply execute them in stylish and brutal ways by using the environment in creative ways. My favorite fighting style is the snake style, where parrying enemy strikes is the main component to this style and can be highly effective when you get your timing down. Now, because this game is a sandbox game, expect to have a lot of stuff to do at any given time. As you progress through the story deeper and deeper, more side content will unlock, giving you an absurd amount of things to do. Such activities include drone racing, more undercover detective work, skateboarding, potion concocting, dating, dancing, playing Sega games at the arcade, developing relationships with stray cats, playing VR board games, mahjong, poker, fight clubs, real-time strategy robot competitions, and so much more. All these pieces of side content are substantial and offer plenty of depth to them. Take for instance the RTS strategy game. Not only can you actually play this strategy game with your robot, but you can also find robot parts in the streets of Japan, craft better, more suitable gear for your robot, optimize it for better success, and enlist it in a variety of competitions. This is mostly completely optional content that is just there for people interested in giving it a shot and needs to be praised for doing just that. Along with this side content, the game also sports side cases and side quests. These optional quests further flesh out the inhabitants of these cities, tasking the player to do a variety of things like taking photos of drones, helping couples get through their rough patches in the relationship, catching panty thieves, yes, panty thieves again, and to simply beat up bullies and punks in the streets. Everything you engage with, whether it be the side content or with the main story, rewards the player with points that one can expend on various attributes for Yagami. Want to increase your maximum health? You can do that. Want to learn a lot more combat skills and ensure more experience points are obtained after fulfilling certain battle conditions? You can do that too. Even eating at the numerous restaurants and street vendors nets you with experience. It's that constant feeling of getting rewards that makes this game so spectacular and truly transports you to these virtual worlds. Because these locations in the game are based on actual locations in Japan, this type of virtual tourism is incredible and really exposes the wonderful and rich culture on offer with Japan, while being fully aware of how quirky and foreign some aspects of Japanese culture can be to Western audiences. Although the game can be played with both English and Japanese voices, both of which are phenomenal and feature some of the best acting in big-budget video games, many phrases are spoken to you in Japanese while at shops, ordering food, playing video games, etc. Those interested in strengthening their Japanese skills, look no further, as this game does an incredible job at giving you the right amount of immersion while not suffocating you with it. Perhaps my favorite thing about Lost Judgment is that it feels more focused than the original, with its story taking place primarily at and surrounding a high school. Because Yagami spends so much time connecting with the faculty and the students there, Yagami eventually gets the opportunity to join a large roster of clubs on offer at the school, including the Mystery Club, the Dancing Club, the Robotics Club, and many more. Many of these clubs offer their own in-depth minigames and sports very robust and intricate side quests, with the vast majority of them being entirely optional. Some of the best content in the game is tied to these school stories and offers incredible rewards the further you progress through them. Similar to games like Atlus's Persona series, Yagami also has stat parameters that he can grow while participating in these school activities. Some content will be blocked off and prevent players from accessing it if some of their stats aren't high enough, giving players enticing reasons to continue building their bonds with their school club activities. These stat attributes extend beyond the confines of your school activities, like unlocking the feature to have a girlfriend. What Ryuga Gotoku Studio does so exceptionally well with Lost Judgment and its other titles is the sheer contrast in moods the game projects. One moment, the game's story can be suffocatingly bleak and dreary as it ratchets up its intensity level. Then one moment later, you're out helping building bonds with stray cats, catching panty thieves. Okay, enough with the panty stealing. Shooting balls at the driving range and batting cages, playing darts, helping a young man get the courage to ask out his high school crush, and so much more. This game just seriously rocks and is so completely aware of how strange it can be, confidently knowing what it is at all times while giving the player all the time in the world to explore its incredible depth of content. I know I have only scratched the surface here, but if deep, story-driven sandboxes are your type of game, this one ranks right at the top of that list in excellent sandboxes out there. Its story and likable characters will have you engaged throughout its lengthy storyline, and its side offerings will keep you entranced with its hundreds of hours of optional, yet fulfilling, and completely worthwhile content. Lost Judgment gets my highest remarks, and although not entirely perfect, what's here is executed so well and compels me to preach this game so that more people give it a chance. You won't regret it. Oh my! And that about does it with this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this video and Lost Judgment. And I'd also greatly appreciate it if you support me by subscribing to this channel. It is my goal to provide you with great video content about video games. And if you like what I'm doing, I'd love to have you around for the ride. I'm not going anywhere. And with that, till next time, and FML!